what you're thinking. That is a crowd that hates octagons. But no, they're actually booing the president because that is a thing now. But the reason this is interesting is it was one thing at a baseball game a week ago, but UFC, I mean, we're not yet at like WWE booing the president, but UFC, hypothetically, that's Trump country, right? Like, wouldn't you think?
I watched one UFC match and it was like,
yeah,
like it was too much. So I don't really know.
I like the idea of it, but
I
don't watch it. I have no idea who is actually fighting there.
But on Twitter, they say these are his people.
Yeah, they do say that. I mean, the idea is it's a more conservative audience or whatever than baseball. I think of baseball as being a pretty conservative audience too. Yeah. But yeah, even at the UFC, like, and he took time out. He went to New York to watch it. There is, though, like with last week, there is controversy about exactly what you just heard there. So we listen to that, and I hear a mix of boos and cheers. It sounds like a mix. I can't say exactly what distribution, but not everyone thinks that, including unbiased sources like Eric Trump, who said at UFC 244, chanting Donald Trump, USA, USA.
It sounded like maybe you. I definitely think that couldn't be mistaken with Donald Trump, well, USA, USA, what?
Well, and it would be difficult for you to figure it out because go back to that tweet. That, like, you may believe that because we're not playing it, you may believe that it's a video. It's not a video, it's just an image, which makes it really tough to say whether what you're saying is honest or not when you only put a picture there. But then the other person desperately looking for father's approval is Donald Trump Jr. said, for all the haters that keep pretending it was only cheers by us in the first video and boos elsewhere, here's another one from higher up. Nice try, fake news. Faker's gonna fake, but you're only driving home the point that you guys are biased beyond repair. And here's the thing, so I listened to his video, and yeah, there's some cheers in it, but there's also some boos. Why do we have to pretend that it's only one thing, either way? Like, some people like your daddy, and some people hate your daddy. You're just gonna have to accept that at some point.
Yeah,
But they're obviously biased. They're the only people who potentially want Donald Trump more to see them out defending him than the Trump brothers is Fox and Friends, who had this to say about the issue.
You know, the media can say what they want about it, but this is a crowd that loves this is not a PC crowd right here. This is a crowd that appreciates the brawler style of a brawler president who is there in New York City, the belly of the beast, to watch this fight.
And there are some media outlets actually saying that they mostly heard boos. This has become so juvenile. If you actually listen to the video and the audio, there clearly were a ton of cheers. And the bottom line, who cares at the end of the day? The president was trying to have a fun night.
So here's the thing.
Wait, that's how the president talks about impeachment.
Yeah, totally.
So like a lot of people are saying this and that, you know what, so maybe, but who cares? Because what only matters is that like this, like.
Yeah, you know what I love to end a segment by saying who cares about it after I've just done a segment on my TV show about it. So Ed Henry, clearly you guys care about it at least as much as I care about it.
Right.
Not that important, but we can at least say that we are interested in whether the public out there supports the president or doesn't. And to the extent that we can learn anything from booing or cheering, yeah, we're a little bit interested in it. And the thing is, this is not PC country. Okay, but here's the thing, you are literally triggered over the idea that some people booed the president, so much so that you did a segment about it. That's weird. I really hate this fetishizing of this incredibly biased concept of who is PC and who is not. Here is the truth. Everybody likes hearing some things and they don't like hearing other things. And we've come up with a term for people on the left who don't like hearing things. There's no convenient term for people on the right who don't like hearing things. But if you think that that makes them not politically correct, go up to them and say happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas and see how they feel about that. Say anything negative about religion and see how triggered they get about that. Just because we don't have a term for it, and just because people like, I'm sorry to bring him up again, but just because people like Bill Maher help to advance this right bias term that only people on the left don't like hearing certain things doesn't make it true. Every person in that UFC audience has something you could say to them that'd make them lose their minds. Maybe for some of them, the conservatives in the audience, if you were to step on a flag, they'd lose their minds despite the fact that it's just fabric, okay? Everybody has some things they don't like seeing or hearing.
Right,
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. I think this is ridiculous. I also hate when people misuse, and you were kind of alluding to this, like the phrase politically correct, like as if it's a curse word. Like if you break it down and it's like, oh, hey, treat marginalized communities, treat people who are different than you in many different aspects with respect.
Yeah, and the dishonest thing is they act as if the term politically correct just came up And then everyone looked around to see who it applies to. And it just happens to apply to the left, but that's not true. It came up as a way to respond to the fact that leftists were finally speaking up about things they didn't like. Like, if you believe that only the left is politically correct, I want you to show a Black Lives Matter sign to a hardcore right winger and see how they respond to that. They have a problem with it. They don't consider it to be correct politically to say that. They have their own term, all lives matter. Why did they come out with that? Why did they feel the need to come up with a different slogan? Because they were so bothered by the one that some people dared to organize around.
Well, because it's, I mean, let's be honest. They're a little racist and they're bothered by the idea of people protecting like Black lives or adding value to it.
And what is correct politically to them is white supremacy and not questioning it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not about like being even. It's like, no, we like things. Yeah, we know things are a little racist. We like that.
And we like it. And it makes me uncomfortable when you point out how biased the way things are is.
Yeah, thank goodness Pete Buttigieg apologized for when he was an all lives matter kind of guy. All right.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm starting to think there might be issues with him. Did you know that the primary is down to him and Elizabeth Warren, according to him?
According to him.
Weird how that works out.
We don't have time today.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.